Good morning, everybody. As Rosaline has said, my name is Geraldine Merendino and I work with the cardiac rehab team in Daisy Hill Hospital in the Southern Trust, and that's based in Derry. I work with a great bunch of people. They've taught me so much in the past 2.5 years. So I'm going to talk a bit briefly about what my role is. So I support our physio and our nursing staff in the cardiac rehab team. And by doing this, I take observations, record ECGs, draw bloods, and try to create a rapport with our patients, because it's really important. You know, the doctors and nurses do so much, but they don't always have the time to speak to a person and just ask them how they really are doing within themselves. So my day-to-day job is assisting the girls with that. I also help in the exercise classes. I have taken a course in Chinese, so I do a little bit of Chinese every 8 weeks or so at our exercise programme, and patients tend to really enjoy it. It's a bit of relaxation for them and a bit of variety at the class. So, this way? Yeah. So that's my role. As I say, that's what I do with the girls. So what is cardiac rehab? Cardiac rehab is a structured programme which is designed to help patients recover and improve their well-being after they've had a cardiac event. That could be a heart attack, heart surgery, and a diagnosis of heart failure. Now, it has many benefits. By attending cardiac rehab, it reduces the risk of future events and helps the patient improve their physical well-being. It reduces hospital admissions, which is so important because our NHS is under huge strain. And importantly, it increases the patient's confidence. It teaches them to manage the condition and helps them learn different things about how they can get out there again and get back to their normal way of living. So I'm here today to talk basically about social prescribing. So what is social prescribing? So it's a personalised approach that connects patients with community, voluntary resources and activities that's outside of the medical setting. So the cardiac nursing team identified a need within our group. So there's patients, they've been given a massive diagnosis, they've a huge lifestyle change ahead of them. And coming to clinic, the nursing staff and the doctors, they don't have time. They don't have the time they need to be able to discuss everything with them. So we've identified that there is a need there for patients to look at the whole picture, not just their medical problems, not just what's wrong with their heart or tablets or medication. What about how you are? How are you today? Sorry. So a lot of the things that affect our patients: loneliness, social isolation, their vocational and financial problems, their home and social life, everything can change for them. You've heard from people here today how it affects them in their daily lives. It can affect your relationships and your overall quality of life. A lot of patients then tend to have anxiety, become depressed, and then they're not able to manage their own condition and their own medical condition. Now, this has been documented there's a bi-directional link between these feelings and emotions within heart failure and cardiovascular disease. It was an area of unmet need which the nurses noted, and it was increasing within cardiac rehab. So how I action social prescribing. So I used to volunteer in a local community group. So when I started working with the team, we decided then to meet up with a group that's based within the Southern Trust, the Health and Wellbeing team. Now they were able to. We went to meetings, face-to-face meetings. We had Teams meetings, and so we started to build connections with outside community groups, voluntary sectors. We attended a positive ageing event in our area. Now, the positive ageing event is an amazing thing to go to. So that was more links that I was able to link up with, more groups that I was able to link up with. We then used that when we were speaking with our patients. I also was invited, or I wasn't just invited, our team was invited to several health awareness events, and what we did there was did blood pressures, reached out to vulnerable adults that maybe don't even go to see their GPs and even have things like their heart rate or their blood pressure checked. So linking up with these people gave me a chance then to signpost other patients to that, find out what they like to do and what they would like to do in the future. So this is a questionnaire, 4 questions. I devised this questionnaire up that I show to patients when they come to a face-to-face appointment. It's not very complicated, but the most important question in that is, how often have you felt lonely? You can be in a room full of people and still feel lonely. So once they tick the box, often, that's me. That's when I start moving in, finding out what they like to do. Is there anything that they would like to maybe get involved with? Starting a new group, join a walking group, go to a sewing class or an art class, anything. To date, I have probably signposted 30 patients. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot of people, but it is. So it's helped 30 patients that I'm aware of, signposted them on to different groups, men's sheds. Now, since we've started this in Daisy Hill Hospital, I'm now in the process of helping the Armand and Gannon team. Next stop is Craigavon Area Hospital, and I just hope, with ongoing support, that I have the best support in the world from the girls I work with, that we can roll this out the whole way across Southern Trust. This is just one example. This is a group based in Uri, voluntary group. They do this from September until June, every day, Monday to Friday. I don't know, is that clear enough for you? Yeah, it is. There's something for everybody. So there's no reason in this day and age for people to feel lonely or feel they have nothing to do. They need to get out there, but people become afraid. They're afraid to try new things. That's where we come in. That's where we give them that bit of a push. So what are the benefits? The benefits of social prescribing? Well, mainly it improves your mental health and well-being, promotes physical health, reduces pressure on our health system, enhances in community engagement, but it supports your holistic care as well, your overall well-being, and that's what helps people get better. It requires no extra service, funding, doesn't cost anything to do this because a lot of the groups that we refer to, voluntary sector, lots of them out there, lots in our communities that people don't even know about. And it addresses a patient's psychological well-being as well, which is hugely important in the road to recovery. So, a couple of case studies, and I'm just going to briefly talk about 2 people. First lady came to my hub. I run a hub on Monday in Daisy Hill Hospital, and took her blood pressure and realised her blood pressure was really high, and then she became teary. I got talking to her. She was sleeping on a sofa at her friend's house through no fault of her own. Her home had been sold. She had nowhere to live. And she had actually thought about taking her own life. She was working full-time in a takeaway restaurant. Takeaway restaurant. Something like 40 hours a week. And she was waiting to go for surgery, for heart surgery. Like, this woman was sleeping on a sofa. She was almost 60 years old. Nowhere to go. Couldn't find help. So, first things first, got her in touch with a mental health practitioner. She came back to see us a few weeks later. She then had a social worker in place. social worker referred her on to the housing executive. Now, although she had tried to do this by herself, doing it by herself wasn't working. She needed that additional support from somebody. So by setting her up with a mental health practitioner, that was the first step. Everything just rolled from there. When I spoke to her the next time, she then had got herself a house and feeling much better, new outlook in life, living in an area that she liked. So that was just one small situation. The other one is one of my favourite ones. So 83-year-old gentleman, I think. So he was coming to cardiac rehab, lived at home with his wife, married to her for over 50 years. But he was just fed up. It was a long day, nothing to do. What would you like to do? I don't know. So he's going to a men's shed, which is becoming a fairly popular thing to do. So I met him one day, asked him how he was getting along. So we went to the men's shed. He goes down twice a week. They play a pool. They might watch the football on the television. They might make a few window boxes for people in the area. Totally different way. Something for him to do twice a week. And he looks forward to that. So that's just two of the things. So just a brief summary of what we've talked about. So social prescribing. Sounds like, so it's a social prescription. We get prescriptions for tablets. If we have a sore back, we get a tablet for that. But we need to be aware that for a patient to feel that they're still important in their life, whether they have any type of health condition, it's not just cardiac, it's not just a health condition. There's other things out there. There's help, there's support. You meet new friends. As we all know, it's better out than in, talking to people. It's the one way that you can move forward. Look at this weekend. This is the first time I've ever stood in front of a group of people like this. Never did I think I would be able to do this, and here I am. So, I'd like to thank Rosaline for inviting me along today. I'd like to thank the girls that I work with, Heart Failure, Cardiac Rehab, for their support and encouragement. And just finally, I'd like to make everyone aware that this is the final day of National Loneliness Week. And their theme this year is reducing stigma and meeting loneliness together. What a better way to highlight this, and what a better way to highlight social prescribing at this amazing conference. Again, thank you again for having me.